Oh boy. Well, it's time to shave my head again. Looking kind of rough there. Got my trusty head blade that I've been using. Nah, don't care for that anymore. Could go back to this gem single edge razor that I used and had good results with. No, no. Mercure Progress? DE? I don't use a DE for anything anymore. What the bunch of nonsense. You know what? Today I'm going to try something different for my head shave. Dovo Shavette. All that and more in just a minute. Hi guys. Well, as I alluded to at the beginning, we're going to do a head shave today with a Dovo Shavette. And what I wanted to say was I've tried that a few times. I've been doing it for maybe a couple of weeks now, and I wanted to try something different. The head blade with the multi-blade cartridge, although it gives really great results, it can cause some irritation, especially on the back of my neck where I'm kind of it's a little sensitive, and I'm kind of shaving both with and against the grain to get it nice and close. And I get a little bit of bumps and some irritation back there, and it's visible, and I don't care for the look of it. And so I wanted to try something different. So what I wanted to say was with the Dovo Shavette, before I get started, this is a half DE blade. This is a derby. They come in a package already pre-broken. I have a package of 100, and it's very convenient. So, but I wanted to show you that because with the Shavette, also packaged are these longer blades that go with a black insert that's proprietary to Dovo. And although they're labeled Dovo on the package, I had dinner with Chris Cullen several months back. Great time, by the way. Hey, Chris. And he told me that they're actually made by Mercure. And of course, a lot of people don't like Mercure blades at all. I think he's in that camp as well. I've actually found that these blades work pretty well for me, but I wanted to show you the difference. So this is the half DE, and this is the Mercure, and you can see the edge. The Mercure is probably twice as long. It's really close to the length of a straight razor blade length, and that's what they're looking for. It's also, I don't know if it's a little bit more rigid or not, but I know that they got a better shave with it. So I'm going to put that longer Dovo blade, or Mercure if it is, into my black insert that I'm going to be using, excuse me, on today's head shave. And you notice it's got 3 holes in the insert, and there are 3 holes in the blade. And actually there's 3 holes in the insert, but then on the other side there are 3 tabs. It's kind of hard to see in this light. Let me see if I can. There you go. You can kind of see that. There you go. There's 3 tabs in there. So it's actually easier to put that blade in to the insert than it is the half DE blade, because the half DE blade has these little notches, but this actually has 3 holes, so it lines up really nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put that blade in there, and sometimes for some reason it's a little hard to get it onto the holes and to line up, so I'm probably going to speed on through this part here.
Actually, this is going on not too badly today, but I'm going to go ahead and try to get this blade here situated onto the insert. And again, I don't know why, it gives you a little bit of a hard time, but it makes a nice solid connection. It lines up right on those indentations the blade does, so it's kind of nice. It's not going to come out or move around while you're shaving.
So you can see it there. I'll hold it up. There we are, lined up on the 3 tabs. Just close the insert. And actually it snaps. I don't know if you can hear that. But it kind of snaps on, sort of, not all the way firmly. And we just take our Dovo Shavette, and I know the Franz is going to get on me about that Shavette as a car thing, but there we go. We just slide it right in. And there's my black insert with the Mercure blade ready to shave my head. Now, I'm not out of the shower at this point. I didn't just take a shower, I should say. So I'm actually going to soak my head in a hot towel. I did that a couple of times, but I've been talking to you guys for several minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and give another shake on the towel here. Here's the, by the way, here's the Derby blades. They come in 100. I just like them because you don't have to snap the blade. But oddly enough, the McClure blade came in this package here. It's now empty. And you actually have to snap that. I don't know that it's, it may be scored, but you actually have to snap it. So I think it's scored. Also on today's shave, I've got my G13, I think it is, scuttle. And the only reason I use that now is to kind of soak my brush and to have a place to warm it if I want to in between passes. Other than that, I face lather or head lather as it were right now. I've got my Omega Bore, which I love, very inexpensive. I mentioned that in the previous video, and I can probably put some more information about that. I'm going to shake out some water here. But I've got my Bore. I like the Bore because it's a little stiffer, and I kind of rub on my head a little bit. It's a little bit of a rougher surface, so I like to, use a little bit of a stiffer brush that I'm not afraid I'm going to have some hairs drop out of the brush while I'm lathering my head. So what I've done here is I've warmed up a towel in the sink, or put it under hot water, I should say. I've got a towel here, and I got these actually at Sally quite a while back, very inexpensive. They're called barber towels. You can buy them anywhere. A washcloth I find is a little small, so I'm using these towels here that are just for my shaving. They're not for anything else. I don't use them on the face shave, but I might start. And while I'm doing that, I'll step back over here. You can see I've got my, yeah, that's a nice look. Got my Maggard's shirt that I've been waiting for patiently. It was out of stock for a long time, and then I put myself on the reminder list. And when it came in, they sent me an email, and I jumped right on. So, hey, Casey and Brad, I'm glad to have my shirt. You guys are the best. Not that the other places aren't, but, so I'm glad to have my shirt anyway. I feel like I belong now. Also on today's shave, we've got the Katie's Bubbles, the Razor and Brush Special Edition soap. I don't have the cap in front of me. It's in the cabinet. If I move it, the camera may move, so I'll show it to you at the end. But anyway, I've got a little bit of water kind of soaking in the soap. So what I'm going to do is, I take the water out of my scuttle that's been sitting there for my brush to soak, and I pour that soapy goodness into my scuttle. And I actually use that as a pre or in between passes. It's kind of interesting. I forgot who I got that from, but I don't want to waste it. So what I'm going to do is, I'll actually put some of that right on my head as a pre. And bear with me for just a second here. Then I'm going to go ahead and load up my brush that I've shaken out the majority of the water from. I'm going to load up my brush. And I like this soap a lot. As long as the brush isn't too wet, I find it'll load really well. If the brush is a little wet, it gets kind of messy, and a little bit, the lather gets a little bit too liquidy for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and load up here. And I'm not afraid to load for a couple more seconds. I used to be, but I think we got a pretty good load on that brush. I'll give it a couple more swirls. I'm kind of fighting with the cold today. That's why I got this long sleeve shirt on underneath the other one, even though I'm in the house. Kind of rough. So I'm going to go ahead and lather up my head here. And it's kind of dry, so I'm going to put a couple more drops of water on the brush. But actually what I'll do is, I'll take the water from the scuttle to add some water to the brush, to the lather, if you will. And actually on my face, I do that too. I put it right on the brush. So kind of nice. Get a nice lather going on my head. And yeah, it's probably been about 5 days since I've shaved my head, which is way too long. I like to go about every other day. And I got to tell you, if you haven't shaved your head before, it's really refreshing. So some of you guys that are thinking I might try that, even in the wintertime, give it a try. I like it. And of course I've been doing it for well over a year now, but I'm going to just put a couple more drops of water on my brush, and then we'll try to get to shaving. Normally I would dip my fingers in alum, but I'm going to go without that today. The alum is in the cabinet anyway, and again, if I go in there, I may move the camera. So, oh, but I got to go in there and get my mirror. So, I like to use a mirror. for certain parts of the shave. So let me go ahead and get my mirror and my alum, and we'll see what happens to this camera here. Hopefully it doesn't move a whole lot. And if it does, we'll just have to make an adjustment. Oh, look at that. It didn't move at all. Good. So here's the soap we're using today. It's Black Bergamot, the Razor and Brush Special Edition. And get my alum. This is the one that I use from Shave Nation. I saw a video recently with Gio, and he's got one now that looks sort of like a deodorant push-up. I really like that you twist it and you can push it, the alum up, and then when you're done you can, I guess, retract it into the container. So that's kind of nice. So I'm going to go ahead and wet the tips of my fingers here. I've got my Shavette, and again with the Shavette, you know, I've been using this exclusively for quite a while. I've gotten away from the straight razor just because it just saves me time in the morning and I like it. And so it's something to consider. It's not the same as a straight. A lot of people have talked about that, and I won't belabor that too much, but it's something to consider. So here we are. I'm going to give this a shot, and I'm going to start right in the back actually, so I'm going to try to flip around. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here. And I make a good pass, or a good stroke rather, right against the grain on the back of my head. I got to be careful in the front, it's a little more sensitive, but right there in the back, I can just kind of go right up, straight up against the grain and cover a lot of ground. And we'll give that get some of that off there. And actually, I didn't even get the mirror, so let me grab that too. I don't use the mirror all the time because I don't have 3 hands. But I like to sort of check on some areas sometimes. For the most part, I like to use 2 hands for the actual shave. So this is feeling pretty good back here. So we'll go ahead and continue in the back. One of the things I will say about the head shave with the Shavette is just like with any other application of the Shavette, I didn't try to shave my whole head right out of the gate with it. And I would recommend that you, whatever your current method is, you know, incorporate the Shavette into that, but don't try to do a whole head shave in one pass. There's a good chance that it won't work out well for you. So I actually did a whole pass, and then I used the head blade for a subsequent pass, and I did that several times. So that was my thing. But I had gotten very comfortable shaving my face with this thing without any blood. And that takes a while, because this thing is very light, and I actually think it's more forgiving than the straight razor, oddly enough. I really do. I think it's sharper, but I also think it's more forgiving. One of the things that I like about it is on the corner there's no blade, so I don't tend to cut my ear and things like that with that straight razor. A lot of times I catch the corner on either on my ear or on my cheek or in different areas. You know, Stallion was talking about it in one of his videos a while back, or it was a quick tip that you have to watch the whole razor. You tend to watch one area of the blade with a straight, and that's how you cut yourself. You don't know what the corner is doing. And I found I was doing that a lot with the straight. So with this Shavette, there's no blade on the corner, so it's not really an issue. Now this lather is getting a little dry. I might have to add some water here, but I'm trying to get the back done, because that's the easiest area. I like to start with what's easy and then work my way to the more difficult areas. So, and I should be letting you guys see what I'm doing here. With my head with this much growth, I get quite a bit of audio feedback. And I'm taking off quite a bit of hair. I know you can't see it in the sink. I could probably show it to you. But let's see what we got going on here. Is that the magnifying side? Oof, I don't like that at all. I'm just trying to check to see where I'm at and see if I've cut myself, and I haven't, so that's good. I can kind of see what's going on the bottom here. There's some areas on the bottom that I just need to kind of touch up a little bit. I'm not shaving any area that doesn't have lather on it, so I'm not kind of going over anything. Some of it's kind of dry though. So, and this area right by the ears is always tough. Behind the ears, I should say. But again, with this Shavette, what I can do is I can get right up against my ear with the edge of the razor because there's no blade at that point. So it works out really well for me. I just had to stop for a second there, and I'm back. So starting to kind of make my way over towards the front here. And at this point, I'm going to try to go against for the most part. I did try this with the Feather Artist Club, and I found that maybe I was still new at it, but it was really cutting and irritating my skin. It was all red and stuff. I mean, that blade is very sharp, but at that time, I wasn't, you know, I was still new at shaving my head in general. So I might go back and try it with the Feather, but for right now, this Dovo is doing a great job. And I really like it. I mean, it's very lightweight, which can be a problem for a lot of people. But I've learned to handle it pretty well. And you know what? The barbers use it all the time, so that's a big thing. And people talk about the derby blades, but again, barbers use those too. So, you know, I don't know. Anyway, I'll give you a camera shot here of what's coming off. You can see I got 5 days growth, but it's going to take off. And that blade is nice and long. When you use that half DE blade, it's not going to cover as much ground, obviously. But I do like the DE blade, this versus the Feather, because, you know, the Feather Artist Club, because I find that it's not as aggressive, but I can get a better result. It's much milder shave than the Artist Club, on my head anyway. And I've actually been using this on my face, and this long blade too on my face. I was using the Derby half DEs for a while on my face, and I've started to use this longer blade on my face also. And I like it. It's a little stiffer than that Derby. It seems to be sharper maybe, or I get a better shave with it anyway. So I get a better result. So I'm kind of working my way. And if I do this right, I can usually get the majority of my head in one pass where it's nice and smooth. To me, there's no point in shaving my head if it's not going to be smooth. I don't want an ish kind of head shave. Now the top is tough. Although my head is pretty well smooth, you do have some kind of indentations. And you have to kind of work your way around and do different things, maybe a little bit of J-hooking and things like that to get all those areas. But even here you can see on the top, I'm getting that. So I may have to relather a little bit here in just a second, but I'm trying to get all this crud off my razor. And let's see what I got. But I can't stress enough that this thing here, in general, can be a little bit of an adjustment to be able to use it without cutting the heck out of yourself, whether it's face or head. So you want to go slow, do the areas that are easiest, and if you're having a problem, just, you know, switch to your regular method and then come back. What I should have said at the top was, though, I've not used a DE razor in a long time, and I don't plan on it. I just don't like the DE at all, so just put that out there. No DEs for me. The Shavette right now is my preferred method. The Dovo, but certainly I like my Feather as well. I just haven't used it in a while. So this here is going pretty well. I'm going to try to get this top area as tough, like I said, because of the different contours of my head. Sorry about that. There we go. I think I just dug in a little bit, but I'm not sure. We're going to find out in a minute. Kind of looking at the mirror instead of the camera, but as you guys can figure it out. In the top area, I really don't cover a lot of width because of the different angles. Yeah, I did kind of cut myself a little bit, but you know what? It looks like it's not even going to really bleed.
So there we go. Oh yeah. So I'm making some good progress here. Oh yeah, we got a little bit of blood.
So it's a little ugly. So let's go ahead and put a little styptic on there. I mean, it was just a tiny little circle, but it'll look ugly after the shave.
So, get that done. It feels like we're doing pretty well over here. I'll have a little touch up in the back in a minute. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to put a little water in my brush and kind of spruce up my lather a little bit to finish up the shave here. Let's see where we're at. And while I'm at it, I might as well get the rest of my head in case there's any areas I have to touch up. Back of my neck feels pretty good, actually.
And here's a question for you guys. I just dipped the tips of my brush in that soapy water, by the way. Here's something I want to put out there. You know I'm not on Facebook right now, so I can't really get in on the discussion. But I find that whether it's head or face, if I let it grow for 2, 3, 4 days or more, I'm going to get a much better shave, and I don't know why. So maybe somebody can put in the comments their opinion as to why I get a much better shave with less effort and less passes when it's grown out, beard or head. You guys can kind of feed me back on that. Another thing I don't do here with the head shave is I don't switch hands a whole lot. I primarily stay with my right hand because it feels comfortable. Stretching my skin a little bit here. Right on the temples is always a tough area to get because there's a little bit of an indentation there. So I've got to kind of do things to get around those indentations. And again, I'm shaving against the grain for the most part. And my head can stand it. So my goal is to shave in one pass. Another little nick there. Nothing a little styptic won't fix. If I find that if I get it right away, that'll minimize it showing up later. Not even just to bleed, just because it looks a little ugly. So kind of give that a little styptic there. Here's my styptic. It's a Clubman. You can buy them at the corner drugstore. These styptics, they're about $2. Okay. Finish this up here. I'm sorry about that. You guys, I got to kind of face the mirror here, so let me just do that, and then I'll get the top of my head. Maybe you can see that shot. But here, can't really face the camera, and you guys can't see. All right, work my way around the ear. And with the DE, I had a very hard time shaving around the ear area. I wanted to say, as far as the DE and the head goes, I had tried that for a while, and what I found was it was hard for me to maintain my angle, and I also tend to bear down a little bit with the razor, or let the weight of the razor kind of take control. So that was bad. So the DE, I mean, I don't like a DE in general, but the DE on my head was generally not a good idea because I would really bear down, or I would just let the weight of the razor come down too hard and not maintain an angle and not keep pressure light and even. Especially on the top of my head, I kind of rake it across the top of my head. So this area here should be all set. I'm kind of going over some ground that I've already covered. And only thing we have left is this little area in the back here, and then I should be just a little bit of touch up and I'll be done. So let's see where we're at. Can I go by feel there? Although I'm probably going to check that mirror in just a second. dogs have made their presence known because somebody has had the nerve to move in the area and not get their permission first. So they're going to let us know about it. Now at this point I'm going to have to look in the mirror to see where I'm at in my little handheld mirror. We got a couple little tough areas here. I can feel it's right against the ear too. And that's a tough area to get. Another thing I would encourage anyone who wants to try using a Shavette for either face or head is to practice your grip. Get the razor with no blade in it and just practice working on different areas of your where you're going to shave face or head, and practice how you're going to hold it. That goes a long way. One of the guys had suggested, actually had done, had shaved his legs as a way to get comfortable with the Shavette. I don't know if I recommend that or not, but that's something that he did. His wife thought it was pretty funny. So this area here is tough. The only thing I could do is I could switch hands. I don't like doing that, so I'm going to shave with the grain there in a downwards direction to try and clean up that area right by the ear. Let's see if we can.
Clean that up. There we go. I think that's going to do it. A little area back here.
Now, if this was a straight razor, which I did try that on my head, I find that I'm going to be nicking my ears a whole lot. With a straight, it was almost guaranteed that I had the same issue with as with the DE, is that with the weight of the razor, I would tend to dig into my head, whether I meant to or not. And of course, there's no guard there, so I could dig in pretty deep and cause a nice little gouge. So I think that's going to do it. I felt like I cut myself over there, but I don't see anything, so that's good. You know what? I think that although I could use a little bit of touching up, I'm going to call that a shave because I don't have any irritation. For the most part, it's pretty darn smooth, and that way I can shave again tomorrow. So I'm going to rinse off and make some final comments, and that'll do it. Be right back. So I went ahead and kind of cleaned up some areas a little bit there. I don't know if you can see it, but there were a few spots that I had nicked and used the styptic, and at this point looks good. No irritation, no cuts, no nothing. Everything's fine. I actually rinsed with warm and then cool water, and I also dipped my towel. I let my towel soak in cold water and then kind of used that as a post. A nice feeling. And then I'm going to take some of this Trumper Skin Food, sandalwood, which I really like a lot. And I'm going to go ahead and just rub that on my freshly shaved melon. Feels pretty good. I'm going to say that it's not perfect. I could do better right now with the head blade, but it's a very close shave. There's a few areas that I'm not thrilled with, but I also try to avoid multiple passes, and you know, I'd rather get a comfortable shave, and eventually it'll improve because it's really a great shave, all things considered. It's just not, you know, the head blade might be a little better right now, but I'm sure I can get to the same point, and that's without the irritation. And the thing I forgot to mention, of course, with the head blade is that the blades are ridiculously expensive. They come in a package of 4. They're about $12 to $14 plus shipping if you can't find them locally. I actually did find them locally, and funny thing, I have actually 4 packs of 4 blades right now that are sitting collecting dust. I just bought them not too long ago. I'm sure at some point I'll use them, or maybe I'll piff them. But anyway, that's my head shave. Again, we used the Dovo Shavette with the black insert. Kind of need to clean that off a little bit there. And again, that's the, I don't have the package in front of me, but they're labeled as Dovo blades. They come in a package of 10. Actually, that's 20 blades because you break them in half. And you can also use a regular DE blade with the red insert, which I did in my previous head shave video, face shave video. You can use any half DE blade you want. You can break them in half. I've been using the derbies. Other than that, we had the Omega brush, bore. I forgot the number right now. I posted that in one of the other videos. The number's not on here, but this thing was, I think it was between $15 and $20. Not even that much. Really nice. I like it a lot. It's a bore brush. All the brushes I have, I like that one a whole lot. And if I'm going to be shaving my head, I use it a whole bunch. So I think that's going to do it for right now. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them below. Thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you guys again soon. Happy shaving.